Hello everybody, and welcome to the shop. 10 more minutes, Thunderchief, Canopy, laying up action on this Sunday morning. How y'all doing this morning? Having a good weekend, I hope. Man, it's been nice, man. It's almost flying weather out. Oh man, it was, but no flying today. I'm gonna lay up Thunderchief Canopy. Got all my glass cut, maybe a couple patterns. I just used like this right here, laid a piece of paper over it, you know, this back part, and drew a couple patterns. Got this end, just set that on two pieces of glass, my 4 ounce and my 10 ounce. At the same time, cut them out. And both out at once. Bam. Quick and easy, baby. Now I got my pastry bag concoction. Now this is probably about 90% baking soda. And then I put just a little bit of cotton flock in it. That just kind of helps thicken it up, you know, a little bit more. And we want to put us just a tiny bead in this corner. We want to be real careful not to let it spread that way because it'll interfere with our canopy. You know, when we glue our actual clear canopy in. So we kind of got to be careful not to let it really goop it in there. I think we kind of spoiled you guys with Paul running that camera this weekend, yesterday. Wish I had a full-time cameraman. We had a couple questions. I'm going to try and remember them today. Someone said, they had a couple questions about our tape, our semen tape, if that was heavy enough. And actually, yeah, because man, when I put this in there on top of it, and it's really pretty close anyway. You know, I don't have no big gaping gaps anywhere. But when I put this concoction on top of that seam, and then we put that tape on there, that is almost like a weld, man. We are fusing them parts together, especially on fresh pill-plied fiberglass. That stuff sticks to itself like nobody's business, man. I mean, you can't take a hammer and chisel and get that stuff off there. And another thing, you know, there's just not much stress on the actual fiberglass. You know, if you're using your fiberglass fuselage to hold your wings on, you're building wrong. You know what I mean? At no point is that fuselage getting torqued or twisted. You know, all your stress is on your bulkheads. You know, and then the carbon, you know, and it's just, you know, that's just not that big an issue if they're glued together right. Now, if you're gluing them things together and you got a big old gap in your fuselage, you know, in your two fiberglass pieces, then you put that tape there, yeah, that's a weak point. But as long as you're doing that stuff right, you have nothing to fear. And that's why I'm here to show you guys, you know, this is just, I'm not saying that my way is the only way and the best way. I'm just saying this is how it works for me. And you guys can tweak it, do whatever you know, and I just hope it helps, you know. This stuff really ain't that hard, and it's got a lot to do with your own personal preference and how you like to do things and stuff like that. Because Butch has been doing this his whole life, man. That dude worked for Lockheed in their model shop, and he has his way of doing things that works great for him. But never once has he said, Bob, this is the only way to do it. You know, he just says, this is how I do it. And, you know, I take that and, you know, sometimes I do it exactly like he does it. Sometimes I don't. But never has he called me, man, you did that, you didn't do that like I do it. You know what I mean? He just says, Bob, that was a good idea, or what did you do that for? You know what I mean? And that's what modeling's all about. It's taking everyone's idea and combining them with your own and making something work, or just following my instructions to the bitter end, you know. It's just, you see how I do it and you see the results I get, so, you know. But I kind of like this epoxy primer. Remember a long time ago when I did my nacelles for my B1, I sprayed a bunch of them parts and let them set overnight. That dang urethane shrunk and lifted off my glass. Now I sprayed this 3 days ago. It's fine. It's ready to go. So with this epoxy, I can spray my parts way in advance. I know that for a fact. So with that urethane, I was spraying one part, cleaning out my gun, and laying that part up, you know, and doing that all over and over and over again. Now I could lay out a bunch of parts, you know, 2 or 3 days worth of work. Spray them, clean out my gun, and not have to mess with them. So I learned that, and that's a good thing. Time saved, man. Bam. Okay, now we're going to start putting in some glass. I got out my some real light cloth. It's like 1.5 ounces, and I was going to start with it, but you know, I might start with it around here because I got a couple sharp corners, and just put a couple little layers on it so I don't get no voids. So I'm going to cut. This is actually what I use to glass, you know, balsa sheeted wings, balsa fuselage, you know what I mean. I got this big old roll, man. This was a big old roll. I bought this probably 15 years ago. I bet I know I've glassed 20 to 30 airplanes with it. That is not exaggerating. And I still got a bunch left. And I paid like $300 for that big old roll. That was a bargain. I don't know if you guys ever bought fiberglass in the hobby shop. This little 3/4 ounce. 3/4 ounce is a little light, man, you know, and it works so. But I think the holes are a little far apart. I like this stuff that's just slightly bigger. Okay, now we'll get this situated where I can work. There we go. Okay. Now I want to keep this first layer thin. I just want to get a little bit on there. I do not want to cake it on. Being careful not to brush away my filler. And a couple hard brush strokes, that stuff will be gone, man. And this is all going to have that molded flange up when we're done, so you guys need to pay close attention. I'll make a video with every step. We'll show you how to do these molded flanges. Now this, I've kind of just looked at other molded flanges and tried to see exactly how they did it.